Kevin Evans.
Okay.
Kevin Evans.
Kevin Evans.
Kevin Evans.
That flows. Yeah.
It's a fun name.
Yeah. Hey, this is Mike. Welcome to the Wandering Minds podcast.
This is Mickey, and today we have Kevin Evans.
Kevin
Hello, guys.
Evans. Thank you for coming. So, Kevin, 3-time Golden Gloves champion.
Yes.
What's your other
One-time regional.
one-time regional?
regionals.
Okay. How long have you been in boxing?
I've been in boxing for about 8 years. I started when I was 14.
Okay.
I've been competing for 8 and stopped when I was 22.
Wow. Okay. So before we get to the why you stopped, what got you into boxing?
What got me into boxing, I've always loved the sport of boxing. Growing up, watching it with my family, my uncles. I started out doing kickboxing on the side of a park. My uncle started me out at a young age. We was training, working on drills and technique, and then he felt that it was time for me to start competing, and he wanted to try it out.
Cool.
And then started competing for a little bit, had like 1 or 2 fights, and then I ended up moving, and then came to Oregon, met a friend, and then long story short, he ended up passing away, and that kind of motivated me to want to get into the sport of boxing because I didn't know he was a fighter until I seen him on the news.
Oh,
and then that was it right there.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to start this for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, why not kickboxing versus boxing?
Just never really was a big interest in me. Like I knew when I was a kid, I was like liking it a lot. But then over the years, I transitioned, and I liked the stand-up fighting, art of it, and I just wanted to just try out boxing.
Good for you. Now, so I'm more of a street type of person. I've always been in street fights, and I talk about this because we have fighters on all the time. But did you ever find yourself in a street fight, or were you guided so much to just be into the technicality of the art of boxing? Or when you were younger, did you ever get in fights?
When I was younger, I've gotten into little bully fights when I was in elementary school.
But that's just normal stuff, though, right?
Yeah,
okay.
The normal stuff. But as a teenager growing up in high school, middle school, stuff like that, I've never seen myself in any like street fights or anything.
Okay.
I've always was good enough to stir myself away from the situation when it came down to it.
You had your mind on, right?
Used my mind and was a better person.
Yeah. Good for you. Good for you, especially when you get some technical skills behind that. And I think there is a huge difference between a trained fighter and a street fighter. There
is.
A street fighter goes up against a trained fighter. The street fighter is getting their ass kicked. Night and day. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
But no, that's cool because some people they're put in that position because they started in the streets.
Yeah.
A lot of people start in the streets, and it's like, okay, let's refine this. Let's make a profession out of it.
Right.
And so I could see that. Now you said you moved. Where were you born? Where'd you grow up?
So I was born in Anaheim, California.
Okay.
Lived there for about 8-9 years, and then my stepdad, I got a job in Arkansas, so I moved there for a year, and then after that year, I moved to Oregon.
Okay.
And this is where I've been since.
Yeah. So you have a foundation here. Then I take it you have family. You have.
I have my brother, I have my younger sister, and I have my mom, and then that's just about it.
So tell me about the Golden Glove stuff. Tell me about that journey and becoming champion, 3-time champion.
That's an Oregon thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
And regional, I assume, is like Pacific Northwest.
It's in Las Vegas.
Okay.
Okay.
But anyway, the Golden Glove. What were you asking, Mike?
Well, I want to know about that journey.
The journey. So when I had first started, I came into this Golden Glove tournament. Looking at it like it's an actual tournament. I didn't know it was like a very serious, important tournament. One of those tournaments that can really like get you out there.
Yeah.
And so I was 17 at the time when I had first entered this tournament, and the fight that I had, it was a really good fight. It was a tall fighter, southpaw, really good.
What does southpaw mean?
Southpaw is a left-handed fighter.
Okay.
And the fight was really good. I felt like I did a pretty good job with my first time being in a tournament like that. I didn't end up coming out with the decision the very first time.
Yeah. And
then I knew what I needed to work on. Me and my coaches, we talked about it. Yes, and we definitely came back next year.
Yeah.
And I ended up entering that tournament again. fighting the whole tournament, winning
Nice.
state
Nice.
2018, and then went to Vegas for the regionals. Got my first taste of the regional tournament. Fighting there, and then I ended up getting getting the decision that time, but it was an advancement.
Yeah.
How
Stepping stone.
It was a stepping stone. So I always just looked at it that way.
Oh, yeah.
You know? And then came back to the drawing board. Next year again, came back.
Refined your art.
Refound it. Fought again.
Yeah.
One state, one regional, and then went to
Nice.
nationals, and then.
So what weight class are you in? What are you fighting?
So the original weight was 152.
Okay.
They just changed it to 156.
So is that bracket wise? Is that lightweight? Is that welter? What, not welterweight, but what is that? What is that class?
I'm thinking it's a lightweight.
Lightweight. Okay.
Welterweight, I think it's like the 147 division.
Gotcha. Okay. So now is in the Golden Gloves tournaments, is there an age bracket you have to be, or is it just weight classes?
It's weight class and age bracket because they go by
weight and age.
youth
That makes sense.
and elite.
Yeah, well, and that makes sense. They call us older dudes elite. That doesn't mean we're elite. That just means we're old.
The masters.
So
yeah,
in
the
powerlifting, because that's what I do. That's what Mikki does when she competes. But I'm a master's level.
Okay.
And I'm not a master at it. I'm just that old.
Okay.
They've given me a little bit of a crown because of my age, but yeah. Anyways, no, that's cool though. So, now you spent a couple years, right, boxing,
Yes,
and doing all that. So, what took you away from it?
What took me away was I had a lot of stuff going on between
Okay.
family and personal stuff with myself.
Yeah.
I just needed some time to really like figure out my mental and my physical. I was going through some health problems.
Okay.
And I decided to, take that time off to really focus on myself and work on me and get myself back to where I know I can be at.
Yeah. Well, and I think one thing that a lot of people, especially at your level of fighting, is mentally, if you're not there, you're not there.
Right.
And that's what a lot of people, I mean, even with lifting, but lifting is a different art. There's stress to it, but when it comes to fighting, it's such a chess game, and there's so much to it. It's like one slip up and you're done.
Yeah.
One slip up and you're done. And I think that a lot of people take for granted mental health.
Yes.
And it's so important, especially to keep your composure in a fight. Mm-hmm. And that's good for you. But people should be proud of you. You should be proud of yourself for recognizing that, knowing when to step back and like, okay, let's collect again.
I definitely am proud of myself. The time that I had taken off, I definitely was able to really reflect on myself and where I was at and where I'm at now. And I definitely feel like, I'm at a place where, I can only go up and there is no going back. And I feel a whole lot better, 100%. Now that I took the time off, it made me realize how much I actually love the sport of boxing, and how much, it would hurt for me to come back sooner than later when I'm actually ready to. And so taking that time, it really made me even more hungrier. And so I'm just now feeling that fire fuel and me feeling 100% ready to go.
Yeah.
I feel like there's nothing holding me back now. And so now that I took that time, and I'm sure I had a lot of my fans out there that are asking about me and where I've been at, and so it's really good for me to kind of be back into the limelight. And so now I'm ready to go.
So when are you taking your next first fight?
My next first fight is going to be this month. Golden Glove. The Golden Gloves, January 27th.
That's in Portland?
28th. It's going to be actually in town.
Oh, here?
At the old Matthew Knight.
Okay.
Mac Court.
Okay, Mac Court. Yeah. So, and I know that somebody posted it on our Wandering Minds page, and I shared it to the story, but I didn't see exactly the date, and I didn't realize it was actually in town.
Yes, I didn't know either until I seen the flyer, and I was like, wow. Okay.
Is it usually here?
No, it's normally in Salem at the Salem Armory.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So when you go to these tournaments, is it just up in the air who you're going to fight? Or
yes,
how does that work?
Sometimes you have somewhat of a hint on who you're going to be fighting. Yeah. But most of the time, it's random. They have a whole bunch of fighters that sign up. They have the weights, and then what they do. My assumption would be that the weight that the fighters that are going to be selected, they will like put their names in like a hat or some sort of like bowl, and then like pick the fighters out, and this is who you match with.
Does it matter experience?
It does matter
Okay.
the experience because they go off of open and not open.
Okay.
And so if you're an open fighter, you're going to be fighting guys that have more fights,
More experience.
more experience.
Yeah.
And so they also go by that bracket too.
Okay.
So they can have more better of a match fight.
Yeah. See, and that's what I was like wondering about, because like you get some dudes that are just new into the game. It's like, well, that's not even going to be a fun fight to watch.
Right. It's not.
So what? Tell me about the most difficult fight you've ever had.
The difficult fight I've ever had.
And it could be any time. It doesn't have to be in the Golden Gloves. It could be pre that, whatever. Just tell me something about the most difficult fight you've ever had and why.
One of the most difficult fights I've had. It was.
They were all easy.
Yeah,
right.
That's the thing.
He's got skills.
One fight I would say that I had was when I had my eyes open. When I opened my eyes a little bit more.
Yeah.
When I had fought this one fighter that was from.
It shook you a little bit.
Yeah, it shook me a little bit. It was from he was from Ireland.
Okay.
And it was a like Team USA versus Ireland kind of type of deal.
Yeah.
It was after this one home show that I had, and the announcement was made that it was going to be this Team USA versus Ireland. Like Ireland's going to be coming down to fight with the guys from USA, and so we fought at this Irish pub over in Portland.
Yeah.
Big Irish thing. It was on St. Patrick's Day and everything. Very, very big event.
Yeah.
It was nice. And my first time being in there, I didn't know who I was going to be going up against, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And when I had finally got in there, I was doing my thing. I felt like I was doing a pretty good job. But I got outboxed that whole entire fight. Ended up, not getting the decision.
Yeah.
And then coming to find out that I fought against a guy that was a 4-time national champion.
Nice.
And he had over 80 plus fights.
Ooh.
And at the time, I only had 17 fights.
Oh, shit.
And so being in there, I was the complete underdog.
Yeah.
And I was.
But you didn't know that at the time.
I did
That's
not
good,
know.
though.
I had no clue.
Wow.
And
so you lasted against the fighter at that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like,
and
that
I was-
alone is awesome.
Yeah, and then just being in there, I was the complete underdog. I was supposed to, like, from everybody, right, everybody thought that I was going to get stopped, knocked out, or just like something bad, but it didn't happen. And then I also had changed the fighters' game plan, because I did a few like clip studies and whatnot, because sometimes it's like a hit and miss. You're able to find some clips and not.
Yeah.
But I was able to find a little bit, did some studying, and seeing that he was the type of fighter that liked to fight with his hands down.
Okay.
That was all
Leaves
of his,
himself
that was
open.
all of his fights. But in this fight, something changed, and he had his hands up the whole entire time. And then after the fight, him and his dad, they came up to me and was like, "Man, you're a great fighter. Don't take anything away from that fight. I know that it didn't go in your favor, but you definitely have a lot of potential, and I wouldn't give it up."
Yeah. Because overall, that was a win for you. Even
it
though
was
you
definitely
lost the
a
fight.
win.
Wow.
A win-win. And now looking at it, this guy, his name is Aiden Walsh.
Okay.
And he's now a gold medalist for
wow.
Ireland.
Yeah,
so
nice.
Saying that I fought a
top tier fighter.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Now, have you ever been stopped? Have you ever been knocked out?
Never.
Okay.
That's a big goal of mine. So I'm going to always stand by.
Stay by that.
It's a very, very, very big commitment, but it's something that I'll always tell myself.
No fighter ever wants to get put to sleep.
I'm not ever. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think, and one thing that I think a lot of people don't understand is once you get, again, taking this from personal, once you get put to sleep, it seems almost easier to fall asleep in a fight again, get knocked out.
I know.
Right? I mean, you get that fear in you, and I think you tend to leave yourself open in situations because you have that in the back of your mind.
Right.
Do you think that's true? Have you seen that with professional fighters where once they get knocked out, it's like, okay, now they're on this trend of potentially get knocked out again?
I do feel like, what you're saying, it's in the back of their heads, like, oh, I got knocked out, and so there's a little bit of a fear But if you go back to, training,
Yeah.
and looking back at that film on what actually happened, how you got caught,
Yeah.
and what was the reasoning on why you got hit that.
Yeah.
And so now
Then you could put it behind you and not
you
let
could
it
put it behind you, or you could still carry that with you.
Yeah.
And then it's either going to do you some good,
Yeah.
or it's going to do you very bad,
Or it's your downfall.
It's going to be a huge downfall. But
Yeah.
I feel like it is a big factor though. Some fighters that get knocked down, they don't know how to recover and then come back.
Yeah. So where do you train at?
So right now I'm training out of Empire Boxing Gym.
Okay. That's in Eugene?
This is in Eugene,
Okay.
over by Churchill High School.
Cool.
Yes.
Cool. You got a lot of fighters in there, or obviously it's a boxing gym, but are there top tier fighters like you? Are they all going for the Golden Glove and more?
So there's just me and one other fighter. We're the only two fighters right now, and then now there's like other kids in there, and other like people that are training, that are like learning to get to like learn the sport of boxing, and then eventually they're gonna get some few fights, but they're slowly working on it.
Do you think now? I think fighting in general is a great expression to release stress, anger, tension, all that stuff, and it's an art. I think a lot of people, not trained fighters necessarily, but don't abuse it. I think that it keeps you level headed. A lot of times, do you find that it's more beneficial than somebody might look at it as toxic or dangerous to teach people?
I find it very relaxing to just do the sport, and when people find it dangerous, I think they look at it in a way where it's like, my kid or or whoever is going to be fighting that's a member of them, they're going to be in there getting hit a lot. They're going to take a lot of blows to the head. But really, if you look at it in a different perspective, you have trainers that have the knowledge, the coaching, that are going to teach your son how to actually properly throw, or daughter. Sorry. And then they're going to take the time, in classes to show them how to properly do things right, and not going to just send them out there in harm's way to get hurt. And I feel like when I'm training, like I'm at ease. It's not. It's
so. Are you in a zen moment when you're training, or are you finding yourself as a different personality when you're fighting? And I don't mean that in a weird way. I just mean, do you go into yourself into a different mindset when you're training and fighting?
When I'm training, I find myself in a like beast mode.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm like
So even in training,
yes.
So you're finding that beast inside of you, so that you can use it in the ring.
Okay. Transitioning.
Yeah. Okay. So and that makes sense to me. Makes sense to me. I know that a lot of people need this type of stuff. For the type of person that I am, I wished I would have gotten trained as a fighter when I was young, because I used my aggression. Like I went to prison because of my fighting. And for a person like me, for younger men, I tell people, go to the gym, go get trained, even if it's boxing, MMA, jiu-jitsu, whatever the hell it is. Don't take that shit into the streets.
Right.
Because nowadays you just get shot anyways, right? Or stabbed.
Most people just lean towards the gun or some sort of weapon.
Yeah.
It's not very fair these days.
No. Whereas like if you took that energy that you have inside, your beast, take it to a gym and get trained professionally.
Yeah.
And then you could beat people up for the fun of it.
You can, and not even get in trouble too. That's the thing. That's what I like about it.
Exactly.
I like to, if I had anything going on, if I have like a bad day or whatnot, I know that I can always lean towards the gym.
Yep.
Always ask my coach if I can go in a little early, just so I can just be able to do my own workouts.
Yep.
And then when it comes down to bag work, take out all my aggression and anger and everything, and just hit the bag, with the right proper form, technique, and everything, and get it done.
Absolutely.
By the time I walk out, I'm always walking out with a smile on my face.
That's what Mickey needs, actually. Yeah. You need to go to the gym. Take out some aggression.
hit some mitts, burnouts.
Right. So do you guys target or not? I don't mean target in a bad way, but do you guys promote this to women?
Yes.
To try to get women to come in and learn some self-defense and stuff like this.
Yes,
with boxing?
we have quite a few. We have a lot of women in our boxing classes.
Cool.
The gym that I'm at, we do boxing, and then for the elite fighters, and then we also have other boxing classes for kids, women, and all sorts of other categories where people best fit in for them and where they're comfortable at.
Cool.
And then we just take it day by day, working on skills, technique, and drills. And
is it directed towards just like a workout, or is this like priming them for like, okay, you're going to get in the ring someday, or could they just come in and just like get the workout, get the skill down, and that's all?
It's so for them, it's literally for whatever
they want.
Whatever you want. Like it's strictly for them, you know, and for those that are actually wanting to compete, you know, it's kind of a little bit more serious. You know? Now you come in there every day, and you're gonna show up and do the work, and get the job done.
Yeah. So what does a normal day for you look like? Like right now, knowing that you're fighting in a month, what does your waking up? What does your day look like?
Like 2 weeks now.
Yes, it's
we're 2 weeks.
out.
Yeah. I gotta get tickets to that. I want to come and watch, man.
I know it's gonna be some fireworks.
Hell yeah.
Is it only boxing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So day to day, what everything looks like. I work graveyard at Fran's Bakery.
Tell me that, yeah.
And so I work from 12 to 8. Sometimes I work a little overtime. And when I get off, I normally would go straight to my first part of my workout: running, sprints, abs, push-ups, anything that is core. Mm-hmm. And then after that, I would get some sleep. Okay. Wake up, eat me a meal, and then I'll go for my second part of my workout, which I'll go to the gym and then do some work with my coach, and then after that, come back for at least an hour or two of downtime, and then I come back for the actual boxing class, and then after that, I would go home. And it'll be around like 8-ish. Yeah. And then get some rest, maybe eat my like dinner. Yeah. And then I would prepare myself for work later on tonight.
Wow.
How much sleep do you get?
Not as much as I should.
Yeah. I don't feel like sleep is budgeted in there much.
I was trying to count the moments in there too.
It's not as much. When I get off, sometimes I would not necessarily skip my first part of the workout, but I would make sure that I get the rest that I need. Yeah. And
it's such an imperative part.
Yes. Yep. Yes. And I would make sure that I sleep, get up, and once I get up, that's when I start my workout, and then I'll have enough time to be able to get 2 of my workouts in before I go and get my third.
Now, I only heard 2 meals in there.
2 meals?
Right, that's what I heard. Do you eat more than that, though?
I do eat more than that. I eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Okay, and little snacks every once in a while.
I snack throughout the day,
yeah. Because I'm eating about 6 times a day.
I feel like we're like pulling the parent cards here.
Well, when
are you sleeping? When are you eating?
But, so is it that schedule because you're so close to fighting, or is it always like that?
It's always been like that. I've always had a schedule where I don't know why I just like working graveyard, and so when I get off, it's a little different for most people. But normally you're sleeping during those hours. Yeah. And so, but I find it best for me that when I work a shift like that, I have time throughout the day to actually be able to go in the gym and work, and rather than having the second shift where you work at like 4 and get off at 12. Yeah. There's nothing open once you get out. Right. So I can't really go into the gym and train. Yeah. And I had a shift, at Friends they kind of switch your shifts around, when you're the new person and you don't really have that much of seniority. Mm-hmm. They just kind of put you where you're most needed. And so sometimes, I never know when my shift's going to be changed. So I have to adjust to that and then get myself ready for when that might happen again.
Yeah. So, come fight night, what time do the fights start?
The bout start at 6.
Oh, so that's almost bedtime.
Yeah.
right? So you have to. I'm just saying.
For us.
You have to. Well, what I mean by that is you're going to have to mentally prepare because
Oh yeah, because you would go to
go to bed and then go to work at midnight.
Yeah.
So it's like you don't go to bed. You're gonna be
probably right after the fight, since it's in town. Once I get done with my first fight, I'll go to work.
taking that. Oh yeah, go to work.
Go to work and come back.
Wow.
So how long is the tournament lasting?
So, depending on how many bouts, normally it'd be a couple hours. So it started at 6, probably ending at 10, 11, depending on like how the fights go.
Wow.
If some fights may.
Is it just one day?
So it's 2 days.
2 days. Okay.
Yes. The first day is gonna be the elimination round, and then the second day is gonna be the championships.
Nice. So you'll be there day 2 for sure.
Most definitely. I have no doubt in my mind.
Right.
No doubt in my mind.
So you took some time off.
Yes.
So were you continuing to box during that time? Just train?
I was training. I just wasn't taking any fights.
Just not focusing on the fighting
I wasn't really focusing on the fighting aspect as much as I wanted to get back in the ring. I just felt like not that my head wasn't in the sport of boxing, always has been. I've always had that itch that I just wanted to get back into it, but in reality, I just felt like myself just wasn't really all quite there. I had a lot of mental things going on, stuff that was really getting in the way of me performing, and I felt like if I was to get in there halfway in, halfway out, I'm not going to really be that Kevin Evans that I know that I am, and so it's just.
Well, I think that's really awesome that you were aware of that.
Yes.
Because like long game, it's more important to like take a little break and get right mentally, so that when you come back, like you're 100%.
Yes.
So you should really be proud of yourself for that. How much time did you take off then? From fighting? Like, when was your last fight?
My last fight was Golden Gloves 2020.
Okay.
So 3 years, 2 years. What year are we in?
We're in
20.
This would be the third year if I didn't fight.
We're going into the third year. Okay,
Yes.
so 2 years essentially.
2 years, yes.
Wow. Okay.
It's 23, by the way.
These days fly by.
They definitely do. Especially working the shift that I work. Sometimes I'm like, man, what day is it?
Right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So do you do any like lifting, or is it just pure
Like
cardio?
strength and conditioning?
Yeah, strength conditioning, cardio stuff.
So I do a little bit of mixture of weights,
Okay.
low weight, high rep. I don't really like to go for the big weights and trying to bulk, because that
You want to stay in your weight class.
stay
for
in
sure.
stay in your weight, and then I find too that if you have a lot of mass, it takes a lot of energy.
Yeah, you can't move as
A lot
fast
of
either.
move. You can't move as fast, can't move as quick, and so I like to kind of go for the lean muscle, so that way I won't have to run into the fatigueness of being too tired, or
Yeah. Have you ever come to FS with ARC?
FS,
Yeah,
Forever Strong.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I went
Okay.
to there. We had a few training sessions there. It
Okay,
was really
cool.
nice. I didn't do any lifting or anything like that, but I went upstairs.
You went
for
upstairs to the
boxing.
gym. Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. Because I see them up there all the time. So.
Yeah.
It's cool. So what are you most excited about? Just getting back into it, or what? I mean, what about this is exciting to you right now?
Everything.
Everything.
I love the fact that I'm finally, I'm ready to start boxing again.
Yeah.
And get back into the fighting game, and just being able to fight and do what I love. I love being in the ring and fighting and having people cheer me on.
Yeah.
And rooting for me, and then just in the end, just having the whole atmosphere, and just being in the field, just in the ring, fighting and throwing punches, having somebody else coming at me and just moving around. I miss everything about it.
Yeah.
And I just can't wait to get back to it.
So I take it you don't get nervous. You're not ring shy or anything like that, right?
We all had our phases when we first started. I definitely was, but now since I've had the experience, I'm not at all. I'm just more anxious. My nerves would be for me to just get in there and just get going.
Yeah.
Once after, I say for me, my first, like, if I like the first hit. Like when if I get hit one time, the first hit, like, okay, waking up now, I'm here. Let's get it.
Yeah.
And so now it's like it's game time. So,
Yeah.
usually after the first round, if any jitters are there, they're gone, and I'm fully
You're just
locked
in beast mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that adrenaline has to be going.
It does be kicking in. It normally
yeah.
kicks in after the ending of the first round.
Okay.
Yeah, it kicks in for me at the end of the first round, and that's when it's.
It's
How
hard.
long? Yeah. How long did the rounds last?
So when you first start, it's 2 minutes. Then when
Okay.
you go open, it's 3-minute rounds.
Okay.
3 minutes.
3-minute rounds. Man, that's short. That
And then
as
with
far
1
as
minute
3
in
rounds,
between,
only 3
yeah.
rounds. Wow. 1 minute in between.
Yeah,
Imagine that, going in there just fucking fighting away, and then
get a minute in between.
only a minute, only 60 seconds. Woo!
That's not enough.
Not for me.
Me either.
Let me rest this one out, coach. Come on. No, that's where all the cardio comes in. That's where the
Yes.
conditioning comes in.
running, sprints, you know, all that stuff.
Have you ever had somebody gas out on you in a fight?
Oh yeah, multiple times.
All the time?
Yeah,
Yeah.
The type of fight style that I have, don't want to do too much explaining, but
No, that's fine.
they can't really handle that kind of type of pressure. So when I get in there, the type of fight style that I have, it's a lot, and so they either try to fight their fight, or they just try to fight mines. And if you try to fight mines, you're just giving me what I want.
You're playing into your game.
Playing into my game. So it's gonna work out in my favor because I like that kind of type of I like that engagement. I don't like to sit around and just wait for you to come at me. I like to come at you, and then if I see that you're just running around, I'm not going to run around after you either. So 'cause I like to fight, and I'm gonna show my people, I'm gonna show the ref, and I'm gonna show the judges that I'm here to fight. I'm not here to just
run.
sit and run, and watch somebody run. Like that's not who I am.
Yeah, and that go ahead.
I was gonna ask, so the question, because you get scored on fights,
Yes.
right? I've never understood the scoring. Like, it's obvious sometimes, like, that person definitely lost because, like, they were just getting beat on the whole time, right?
Mm-hmm.
But how does the scoring work? Like, what do the judges base, like, the score on?
So they're scoring you based off of how busy you are looking in the ring. Your like how much control you have, and the output of your punches. And just because you're throwing, that doesn't mean that you're
Landing.
You're landing. So they're also paying attention to the blocks and how many connected punches that are actually being thrown.
Okay.
And so so round by round they are judging based off of how many like how busy that fighter is, and then who is winning that round.
Busy but effective.
Busy but effective, and and staying and just like staying busy. A fighter that is more busy and not looking like he's getting tired, or he's just standing around just taking a lot of blows, but using defense in a way, but that doesn't really make him winning versus the person that is throwing,
Right.
moving around the ring and being busy, pop shots here and there.
Okay. Yeah, because there's no obvious way. Like, I don't know they look like they're winning.
Yeah.
Right? But yeah, okay. I wondered about that.
One thing that I got away from boxing when I watched boxing was the Mike Tyson era. Fucking love Mike Tyson. I still do. He's a great guy. I got pulled away from boxing because of MMA. I got really pulled into MMA and watching MMA, and that was really entertaining for me. Whereas boxing, to me, I respect the sport, but it got really boring for me to watch compared to MMA. Right. And when you get these fights where people just want to tie up and hold, you know what I mean? That drives me nuts.
Yeah, it does.
Does that get really frustrating with you, or do you not even allow an opponent to pull into that game with you?
I try my best to not allow any of my opponents to get as close, to try to wrap me up.
Yeah,
I think if I'm right, in the amateurs, the coaches, they don't know, the refs, they don't really
let that.
They don't let that happen because you only have,
you're there to fight.
You're there to fight, and you only have that like short amount of time, 3 minutes. So when you're in there for 3 minutes, those 3 minutes they kind of go by quick.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you gotta get get your sound off, your punches off, and as quick as possible. You know, being with still being strategic. You know, and being smart.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you don't really have time to be wrapping up and trying to, you know,
you gotta work
to catch your breath. You gotta get in there and work. And you know, signs of when people are wrapping up, that's just, you know, that's the sign
They're losing,
you're
right?
losing. So, you know,
or they're slowing way down.
Yep, they're slowing down or they're trying to catch their breath. So that's when I'm noticing that, you know, it's time to get on the ball. You know, hop on them and not really let them catch their breath.
Do you know, with this fight that's coming up, with the tournament that's coming up, do you know any of the fighters that are coming?
I know some returning fighters that I've fought in the past, you know, and some fighters that might be in there that I might be going up against. So I have somewhat of an idea, but, you know.
No concerns. Just looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming all these fighters or a lot of these fighters are coming from just everywhere.
Yeah,
correct?
Coming from everywhere or within town.
Yeah,
you know,
local. Do you think statewide or is it mainly just Oregon fighters?
I think it's statewide because they're trying to see who was going to be advancing to the regional tournament.
Okay,
so everybody within state right now, and then
gotcha.
And then after that, it's going to be kind of regional,
bigger.
Yeah.
Okay,
bigger.
So where would a regional tournament be? Do you know?
Las Vegas.
Oh, it's in Las Vegas. Okay, are they always in Vegas?
Yes.
Okay. That is the pressure different there, or does it even matter?
It's a little bit different because it's an advancing tournament. You know, you moved up a tier, and so now it's time to really, you know, up the tempo and keep that same mindset that, you know, you're in here to work and get the job done and have your hand raised by the end of all of it. And that's something that I always look at. You know, I'm always going in there with the same mindset that I'm going in there just like he is, and we're both in there. We're going to go fight, and I'm going to come out victorious because I know that I put in the hard work. Not saying that he didn't, but I just know that I'm more hungry and I'm fierce to really.
You know what you're about.
Yeah, I know what I'm about.
Yeah. Do you have are you looking at anything long term? Like as in 5 years, where do you want to be?
In 5 years.
Or are you just right now? Are you just right here, right now?
Right here. Well, really, I really plan on, you know, wanting to see where the next 5 years take me with boxing. You know, I eventually want to see where my skills take me at in the sport of boxing as far as like going pro.
But your right mindset is on profession.
Yes,
professional
fighting. Okay, I definitely want to see myself in the pro leagues. I feel like, you know, I can make it there. And I'll do really good.
Just off the top of your head, what are the statistics of making it into the profession? Do you know, like how many people versus how many people actually make it to that level?
I don't really know the statistics, but I do know, like, just from being around a lot of people that you know, they when they feel that the time is right, they will just you know, end up, you know, signing their contract and just making their pro debut whenever. Yeah. I have a few of my friends that that I know of that after their few fights to amateurs, then they're going to be fighting in this summer and making their pro debut.
Now, how do you make a pro debut? Are you invited to those tickets, or obviously you got to work up to it, right?
I probably have to like work up to it, and I'm not really sure how they go about.
Okay.
You know, I find it when I like look at like people making their pro debut, I think about the big fights, like the Floyd Mayweather fights and stuff like that, like. And so now when I see that, like, you know, fighters that are making a transition from the amateurs to the pros, you know, you have to start out somewhere, getting those like not that very big fights, but to build your name and everything.
Like the undercard fights.
The undercard fights. Yeah.
Which makes sense because we're sponsoring Kevin Boehm, who's a Bellator fighter. Okay. So, and he had a fight and it didn't go his way, but he was in the undercard, but he had to work up from the local fights to now the Bellator undercard, and then you move on then you go to the main card and big show like that. So I was just wondering if it's similar to that.
I think it is similar to that. You fight local, you know, you go around fighting local if you're young,
like these tournaments here and then regionals and
then you slowly start moving up. as you get better and graduating the local division. You know.
So this is I don't know anything about boxing. So I know there's like the UFC and there's Bellator. So
That's MMA.
I know. That's why I'm like, so what is boxing? What would that fall under?
Boxing.
Just boxing. Yeah.
That's it.
Just stand up.
MMA is more inclusive.
Right.
Like with kickboxing,
but like,
you got wrestling. You got.
I don't even know. Like, there's UFC fighters.
Yeah.
There's Bellator fighters.
A lot of them have boxing skills.
Right.
But a boxer is a boxer.
But is it just a boxing fighter? Like, is there like a federation? Does that make sense? Like, if I was to look up...
Yeah, well, like the boxing federations, there are boxing federations.
What's it called? That's what
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know? So, if you were to have a fight, like, what would it fall under? Like,
look it up. Google. Oh, we don't have the thing hooked up. So
that's what I'm wondering is, like...
But there are boxing federations. He is strictly a boxer.
Yeah.
Yes, which I understand. But I'm like... All right, I know UFC and Bellator are MMA.
Yeah.
I know that. So what is boxing
We'll
fall
have
under?
to figure that one out.
Yeah. So like...
I'll take some time thinking about that one.
Yeah, because I'm like, like Kevin, his goal is to be a Bellator fighter.
Yeah.
Right? Your goal is to be a boxer.
A professional fighher.
A professional. Yeah. But what is that? What is the definition of professional?
IBF? Is it International Boxing Federation? Is that?
I don't know.
I think there's that. I think there's the IBF, and then
there's IBF. There's a lot of titles out there.
Yeah, there are.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
How do you seek those out? Like when they are scouting you, whoever they are, who are they?
Some of them may be promoters, sponsors.
Yeah.
There's a lot of promoters out there that go to watch fights. Lots of professional boxers that are doing their own promotion. So they're out there scouting, or just out there to just watch the new upcoming prospects, the fighters. And so at times when let's say I was to be fighting in a tournament, and I like do good. You never know who's really out there in the crowd, and so anybody could be watching you, and so that's why they say to always, be on your A game because you never know who's really going to be coming to support or just out there in the crowds
and scouting.
So when you come across somebody like that, that's where you might have your connection.
Yeah.
And then that's when things kind of start right there.
Yeah. I just wonder, like, who are they scouting for?
Well,
like,
they're
individuals. Like, so when you went to that fight, and it was Team USA against Team Ireland,
who promoted it?
Who promoted it? Who hosted it? Other than the pub.
That part, I don't know.
Okay.
I just know that it was an event coming up, and it was Team USA versus Ireland.
Okay.
And so we just got ready, and then we had our fights. I was matched up, and then I had the date, and that's all I know.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, as far as the promotions go, I think that's something
I think that's what the coaches.
And I think there's a lot like the Golden Gloves. I mean, this is a promotion. The Golden Gloves tournament is in and of itself a promotion.
It is.
Yeah, because it's not just Golden Glove fighters. It's like
a tournament.
Golden Gloves tournament with the fighters coming to it, right?
Yes.
Huh.
And then they go to regionals, and it's the same type of thing. And then the big leagues are...
Yeah, but how do you, like, find these fights? Like, I don't know. Do they have them on ESPN? Do you know what I mean?
Like like the amateur fights?
Sure, any of them. Or even the professional ones.
So the professional ones, like they are always on like social media, always being posted. Like there's like a day coming up, and the amateurs, they have like this website where most all the sanctioned fights are going to be on there, and they have like dates and stuff.
Yeah.
But most of the time it's more, it's kind of like up in the air.
Yeah.
We're trying to get better at the
promoting of it.
Promoting. And so we're trying to get like better at knowing and letting people know when there's more fights coming up. Yeah. But sometimes it's kind of,
Well, social media is the way to go for sure. Like the IGs. Well, even YouTube. Get a YouTube thing going. And I guarantee you'll find fights on YouTube.
Oh, I'm sure. But like, do you feel like boxing is more underground then? Just because it's not... it's not underground. Obviously, it's been around for a very long time.
Yes, yeah.
But
Boxing's been around forever.
Right. But like MMA,
It did get. I feel like it got put in the shadows of MMA, unfortunately, because it is its own art. It's a beautiful technique. It's just now people are watching MMA because there's kicking and there's kneeing and there's like more blood and stuff like that. So, but that doesn't take away anything from boxing.
No, absolutely not. And I didn't mean it that way.
No, you're fine.
I'm just like, where?
Yeah. Well, and it's
just not as popular, unfortunately,
right,
as it once was. Like you said, I feel like it got overshadowed by MMA stuff.
Well, and that's where the promoters really need to start promoting more and getting more younger people hungry to box. Yeah. Right. And I guarantee 9 times out of 10, a good MMA fighter has a good boxing coach. Right. I mean, because they have to have that stand-up game. So boxing is still very heavily respected and appreciated.
They're throwing punches.
It's just, unfortunately, it's shadowed by things like MMA.
Yeah.
We'll have to change that.
I know. I was like, what? How do we do that?
Well, we get this guy to get out there and start kicking some ass and taking some names.
He already has.
I know. Yeah. But he's back.
He's bringing it.
He's back. Yeah. So give us some closing thoughts on what mindset coming into this tournament in 2 weeks?
2 weeks, yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
What do you want to tell your opponents? Night or what?
Keep it professional, you know, and just telling them just to, to get ready, stay training, stay working hard because, we got somebody out there that's definitely coming to fight and coming ready to go. And so I just want it to be a fair fight, and
but a fight.
Bring
your A game.
Yeah, fight. I like to fight, and so I don't really look for nothing more and nothing less than just to get in there and throw hands and really actually engage instead of me having to chase you down.
Hell yeah. Now, okay, you said something really important to me is that you like to fight. Mm-hmm. So there's a different breed of people that actually find pleasure in that. Right? You know what I mean? A lot of people are afraid to fight. Some people want to fight. Some people want to talk shit online, but probably never been punched a day in their life.
Right.
And then you got people that actually find joy in fighting. Mm-hmm. You're a different breed of person, right? It's a different breed. I love the smile. But for me, that's respect. I love that too. I love that about people, but then you got the people that are just afraid to take a punch, and
they talk that talk, but really
they're not about that life.
They're not about it.
That's Those people need to shut the fuck up.
They do.
They need to shut the fuck up.
They get hurt.
What I say about you, Kevin, is that like you may love to fight, but you have this like composure of like calmness,
maturity,
sure. The patience, right? So like. In talking about like street fighting versus boxing, I think something that you learn when you're trained is the discipline.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
And that over time, it really did like kind of stick with me, the discipline. Even though I came into boxing, very level-headed, I didn't really get into much fights, but I did have somewhat of a temper.
Yep.
And working and being and training in a gym, learning channeled and learning how to, work on my aggression and to control it and be composed. You may be getting hit a lot, but if you don't get mad or get
emotional,
angry, get all emotional, you definitely will be able to trying to find a word to
strategically tear that motherfucker apart.
That way,
right?
Keep your shit together.
And that's
keep it together.
Yeah. Well, and that's it. I think that's a superpower as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
if you can
I
keep
agree.
Your
and
logical mind.
That's like what I see just with you just sitting.
They're in trouble.
There.
Whoever's fighting you is in trouble. They're in trouble.
They all know.
They all know.
They've seen me, and it's kind of like a hit and miss. They haven't. That some people know I'm back. Some people don't know, but
they're about to find out.
They're about to find out for sure.
Awesome. Yeah. I appreciate having you, man.
Yeah.
Give me the date again. What's the date?
It's gonna be January 27th and the 28th, a Friday and Saturday.
Friday and Saturday at
6 o'clock.
It's here in Eugene.
At Mac Court.
Mac Court. Cool. All right, brother. Thank you.
Thank you.